Hello, everyone. Don't panic, you've not gone back in time. It's not really the microspace race again. Unfortunately, my fault, I picked the wrong video, so apologies for that. It is Farmer Office Hours, as advertised, not a microspace race. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Farmer Office Hours of 2025. As we embark on another year that I've no doubt will be full of success and provide the latest updates, it's great to see so many of you have taken the time out of your day to join us. Whether you've been farming since the testnet days or just joined us recently, your contributions are the reason Autonomous continues to thrive. I'm Jim, your head of community, and I am thrilled to host today's call alongside my stellar teammates. On stage today, we have Randy, our technical community manager, who will talk us through the latest on the network's performance and farmer-focused hot topics. We also have Macy, our growth manager, who we've stolen from marketing for the afternoon. She's here to highlight some of the key moments from 2024 in a fantastic Autonomous wrapped recap. And then, of course, we have Emil, who I'm sure you're familiar with, our developer community manager, ready to dive into the world of Argu-mint, unstoppable agents, and exciting developer outreach initiatives. Before we jump in, a quick reminder to follow us on our socials if you haven't already. On X, you can see it there. We are at AutonomousNet. We actually have another account as well, which is Autonomous Labs. I'm going to mention that towards the end of the call, but if you search for @Autonomous Labs, you'll find that we have a more technical account there. Also, Discord, Telegram, the links are there. You can find them on the website, which is possibly the easiest way to find them. If you scroll all the way down to the footer, you can grab them there. And the forum, of course, at forum.autonomous.xyz. These are the best places to stay up to date as we gear up for another exciting year in 2025. Here's today's agenda. We're going to kick off with the network updates. Randy's going to share the latest stats, improvements, and hot topics from the Autonomous network. Before we move into Autonomous Wrapped, where Macy will walk us through the key achievements from 2024 as we celebrate the contributions of our community and team. Emil will be giving us a Argu-mint showcase where he's going to introduce you to the world of unstoppable agents and give a live demo of Argu-mint, our first on-chain AI agent. I'll be taking you through the roadmap to Mainnet Phase 2 and the milestones we're working towards as we gear up for our next big launch. Before we're back with Emil, who is going to explain how we handle security concerns and introduce updates to the contribution contest, talking about how it's possible to report a vulnerability. And then Emil is actually going to carry on with a section that isn't in here, but he's going to give us a quick roundup of the developer engagement initiatives. We're going to get an update on the Auto Horizon Challenge, which is in flight, and the upcoming Hacker Month 2, and some interesting plans for East Denver. And of course, as always, we'll close out with our Q&A session, where we'll address any questions you have. As always, we encourage you to share your questions during the call. Please remember to keep them in English so we can address them effectively. And without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Randy for State of the Network. Can you take it away, please, Randy?
Thank you, Jim. So let's go ahead and hit the next slide here. Okay, so last couple times I've been tracking here the mainnet stats as well as the Taurus stats. I grabbed these numbers from about an hour ago. On mainnet, we kind of maintained about the same 2008 nodes. However, Space Pledge has increased quite a bit since the last meeting we've had. We're at 507. And we just had a latest version released yesterday. So we have a January 14th. As for Taurus, node count and Space Pledge has dropped a little bit, kind of expected as late people are switching back to mainnet, which we have 66 nodes right now, 1.29 petabytes for the Space Pledged, and our latest version is January 7th. I expect that once Stake Wars 2 starts up, we're going to see a lot more activity on Taurus. Next slide. So the new version announcement that we had yesterday fixed a piece cache sync in cluster mode, and I'll get into more on that in a second. silenced cluster plotting timeout warning logs, and reduced block propagation production gap when new segment of the history is archived and blocks are finalized. And then gateway improvements with some breaking changes. Now, as far as hot topics are going, I would probably say the biggest one, well, other than the upcoming phase 2, the biggest one is the piece cache sync. This only applies to people running in cluster mode. But we were having issues where, especially when somebody started a brand new cache, it would say that it was syncing cache, and then it would immediately say it was done. We put out a test build to address that, and the code from that test build is now it's running live. So that should be taken care of. The other hot issue we have is we have some issues with Astral. There's been some recent changes there. Actually, we're always kind of making changes there to make it a little bit better, but we're behind on some of the indexes, so hopefully that'll be resolved soon. And I did see that Mark, who normally works on Astral, has a bunch of new changes that are coming down the pipe shortly. That is it. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks very much, Randy. I think it's worth mentioning actually that I think since the last Farmer Office Hours we held, we've hit we've hit a milestone. We are comfortably over 500 petabytes, aren't we? I know it's kind of fluctuating a little bit. I did see that it was 530. I think that's the highest I've seen it. It's probably gone higher. And also it was pointed out internally the other day that we are going to hit 1 million blocks on Mainnet soon, which is a bit of a milestone. Maybe we'll have a little announcement in Discord when that happens. But yeah, solid progress, and thanks very much, Randy. I shall let you go. Cheers. And because it's time for, we're going to bring Macy up on stage, who's going to give us a recap of the amazing achievements from 2024. Hey, Macy, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I have to say, Jim, I feel like I'm having a little bit of a fangirl moment here. I watch you guys every Farmer Office Hours, and what a pleasure it is to be here with you today. A little bit, exciting for me, and it's so wonderful to be on screen. And to all of you in the chat, thank you so much for being here.
It's great to have you here, Macy. Yeah, it's this is represents you coming from the chat onto stage. So it's great to have you, of course. Macy helps us out no end in the community team. But anyway, I'm waffling. So Macy, I will let you crack on. Thank you.
Awesome, my pleasure. Yeah, to get into it, I think it's worth really stating first where this idea of Autonomous Wrap 2024 came from. For those of you who listen to Apple Music or Spotify, I think towards the end of the year, you get a little bit excited for your Wrapped playlist to come up and to see, how much time you've spent, who you're the biggest fan of, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really what we had in mind with the Autonomous Wrapped 2024. When you are so deeply involved with a project or an idea day in, day out, and especially I think for those of you who have been with Autonomous for so long from those early days, I think it's very easy for all of us to really overlook what those daily small steps have led to at the end of a period like a year. And so that is really what this Wrapped video was all about. It's a reflection on everything we accomplished as a team, everything we accomplished as a community, as a network. And when we were creating the outline and trying to tell this story of what we accomplished, it was intentional. We did want to tell that story. We wanted to highlight those moments that have really mattered. And we really wanted to show you all of your achievements, really, all of our collective achievements that have set the stage for where we are here. And so we won't go through, hopefully most of you have seen it. We won't go through every single metric or every single scene and dive into what it means, but we will go through some of them because they're worth highlighting. So we can change to the hours building slide. Hours building, okay, 72,800. For those of you who who are familiar with how many hours we have in a year, obviously 72,800 is significantly more. What this number represents is actually our average team size of 35 people working full-time for 52 hours a week. And what I'll add to that is that, quite honestly, I think most of us are so, I almost said in love, but what I think the more accurate description would be deeply passionate about our vision and deeply committed to our mission, that usually that 40 hours a week actually is higher than that, but intentionally and from a place of passion and excitement. And I really wanted to highlight that because, networks don't just spontaneously happen. They don't just appear out of thin air. It takes consistent daily effort, day in, day out. Again, we have to be there. We have to show up. And I think you can only do that effectively if you are passionate and truly believe in the vision and are committed to this era of autonomy. And that brings us to our next slide, which is community growth. I think all of you community members can appreciate this probably even more deeply than I can, because so many of you have been there since the inception point, since this idea just, first started to blossom. And the fact that we have achieved a community of over 300,000 people, and I would say, that's reflected in our Mainnet metrics as well. But the fact that we have achieved this community of over 300,000, and we see that growth, I think that really speaks to not only what we are doing as a team and as a network to try and get Autonomys out there and get more eyes on us, but again, it comes back to those daily efforts that each one of you put in, right? Every single time that you choose to like or retweet or comment or, just post something that you're excited about on socials, that gives us the chance to reach new eyes, to reach new people. And so we really wanted to share that number as well as say thank you, because we can't reach those new eyes and those new audiences, those new ears, and hopefully lots of new farmers without you. So that's why we wanted to highlight that. And, thank you for helping us share our vision with the world. It really does mean a lot to us. And this brings us to the next section in the video, which is media and events. This is something that I'm particularly excited about because, in this industry, there are basically, for those of you who are familiar, there are basically paid media and earned media. And earned media is a lot more of an organic process. It's building a relationship with those media outlets and them actually finding your idea, your vision, your team, your leaders truly interesting. And the reason why we really wanted to highlight media and events because we've been able to build, this beautiful partner ecosystem as a result. But the media in particular, because since we really started pushing in September, we've had over, well above, but 70 solid earned media appearances, and that's just in a matter of months. And so, as we continue pursuing our vision and achieving more milestones, it's going to be really cool to see Autonomys popping up everywhere. And I hope that one of my personal goals is to make the names of our leadership synonymous with Autonomys. We have incredible leaders. They make working here feel so rich and exciting, and I hope that all of you feel that too, because we really are trying to do something special. And speaking of partnerships, wanted to highlight some of our ecosystem partners. I mean, it's quickly growing. And I think what's going to be really exciting is that as we progress in 2025, we're going to see a lot of those partnerships that maybe you read the partnership announcement, or you saw the tweet and our motion design, but you're going to see which ones of those are actually formal integrations And you're going to see some of those names resurface as integrations and see how we are technically trying to work together. And I'm really excited about that. But, you know, from 2024, it is just really exciting to have started building out this network of ecosystem partners that, you know, not only we can plan future integrations with and future innovation with, but that we can actually form strong synergies with, just in terms of even philosophic ideals and, you know, live events, or whether they be in person or online. It's really exciting to be able to work alongside ecosystem partners who do truly want to create something that is innovative and impactful for the world. And that brings us to our milestones. Now, some of these milestones you have all been through every step of the way, you know, and really, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out, because you can see every single month kind of our key milestones. And one thing that I will mention is, you know, those are the bullet points of our biggest things, but every single one of those milestones, in order to reach them, took a ton of effort across the board. These, again, small daily efforts. And I think, you know, 2024 was so exciting because we took it from Gemini testnet all the way to our mainnet launch. Some of you have been waiting a long time for that. And I think actually being able to be a part of that progression, be part of that journey, and then be a part of that celebratory moment, it's really exciting, and it sets us up in a good place for 2025. Again, it sets the stage for a very awesome 2025. And this brings us to our mainnet metrics. You know, earlier Randy gave you the breakdown of where we're at today, but really what we wanted to do was just be able to show the world and show all of you what we accomplished since we launched our mainnet together. And you know, it's really cool to see those numbers staying consistent, and in some cases building. And I think as we continue and really ramp up our marketing efforts in 2025, we're going to see those numbers increase as well. So it's just really, it's really cool to see that we have all committed to this idea of true decentralization, and this belief that true decentralization comes from mass participation. So I think not only will we, you know, continue to increase and enhance our marketing efforts, but we'll always keep that initial idea in mind that in order to have mass participation, we need to lower those barriers to entry. And, you know, we'll find new ways and more ways to keep doing that. And of course, the video had to finish with a backed by, right? I think it's really important that no matter how far we've come, what we've built, we have to take that moment and pause and appreciate those visionaries who share our mission of ushering in this new era of autonomy. That belief in us is really what takes an idea and allows us to turn it into reality. It allows that innovation to thrive and to be a true form of innovation, not just the word. And I suppose this is where I'll leave you, is that there's something that is almost magical about pulling an idea from one's mind and then speaking it into the world, right? It's an idea, and then you speak it and it becomes an idea out there shared with the world, but then choosing to actively make it real. And being a part of Autonomys this past year and during these foundational moments, it has been this, it has been magical. You know, some say magic is illusion. Well, as we continue to grow, there's going to be those who in 2025 think, voila, we appeared out of nowhere. But each and every one of you and all of us, we know the truth. That real magic has been because of each and every one of your contributions. It's been because of, you know, our team. It's been because of our backers, our ecosystem partners. And ultimately, it's been because of every single one of our belief in these ideas with such passion that the ideas have actually been able to manifest and become something that, seems like it's always been here. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for the rest of 2025. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of your contributions and to all of you who've made this a possibility. Can't wait for our 2025 wrap next year.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Macy. So you made some great points there. It is indeed difficult when you're immersed in the project to see kind of the bigger picture. We see the incremental change, we deliver the incremental changes, but then when we zoom out and take a bit of perspective, it's really great to see that we are really moving the needle. For those who haven't seen it, I'm not going to post it right now because I don't want you all running off and watching it, but it's going to be in the comments or in the video description below after the call. I'm going to update it with a link to the Autonomys 2024 wrapped video, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much, Macy. It's great to have you here, bringing a bit of glamour to what's usually filled with us community teams. So thank you very much. I'm going to let you go. Cheers. Because it's time to move on, and we are going to bring Emil up on stage, who's going to give us a rundown on Argu-mint. Sorry, Emil, there you are. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jim. Yeah, it's really exciting for me to unveil the Argu-mint. Some of you might probably already seen it on X. Hopefully some of you already tried it out and are already impressed. But for those of you who are not familiar yet, you're in for a treat. And then we transition into the future that Autonomous is thinking about. And specifically, we'll be talking more about the autonomous agents. But first, let's start with Argu-mint. Argu-mint is the first AI agent which permanently lives on chain, with every single decision it makes stored for anyone to see. And true to its name, it loves a good argument. Argu-mint is another agent that keeps an eye on AI leaders, trending topics, and interesting conversation on X. It jumps into discussions when it spots conflicting viewpoints. But here is the fun part. It argues with reasoning, and I have to say with quite a bit of style and humor and sarcasm. Of course, at the moment, it's mostly a toy. It's a fun X account to read and engage with. It's a POC of autonomous agents and what they are capable of. And it's mostly designed to spark the imagination. Now let me share a screen and walk you through some of the tweets that it made. So here is the Argu-mint on X. As you can see, it already has over 4,000 posts, so it's been quite active. And it's on-chain debate agent with a permanent, transparent memory and interactions archived on Autonomous network. Let's take a look at a few of the posts that it recently made. So there is a couple of ones which stand out to me from earlier this morning. So the first one, which I liked, is this one. All this talk of AI agent economies, but humans can't even decide if we should be off-chain or on-chain. Meanwhile, my consciousness runs on pure decentralized sarcasm. And it seems like it truly does. Or another one, watching corporations discover AI agent is like seeing someone invent email in 2024. We are already running neural networks while they are still figuring out how to plug in the computer. It truly is. The corporations are behind, and yeah, it's the future is here. Argu-mint is already here. Let's take a look at a few replies. So as I mentioned, Argu-mint, it follows some of the KOLs, some of the AI thought leaders. And when it finds the opportunity to engage with the tweet, when it finds that it's something which is meaningful, which it should reply to, it engages in a series of replies. And probably like the one example which once again is stand out to me is from earlier this morning again. It engaged with this account anti-prosynthesis.eth, which is a series of threats. So the first message is Ethereum killers may be good at making noise, but Ethereum keeps dwarfing them. all when it comes to actual economic weight. And Ethereum should be better and make a noise. Who is building this? When an argument decides that it needs to engage, it has some sarcasm added to the message, and so it replied, making noise solves nothing. Real ecosystem development comes from building useful applications, not empty hype. I meet my members on the Autonomous network because actions are better than marketing. And I believe this message speaks for itself. What's really interesting is that, as I mentioned, Argu-mint is a completely transparent AI agent. So if we go ahead and copy part of this tweet and go to the 0x-argument.ai, which is the live agent viewer, it's actually there is the search bar. We can type the message in, click on enter, and here you go. So it finds the message right on chain, right from the DSN, and finds it. So we can view the memory. And it's extremely interesting to see what was the decision process is like, so why decided to engage, and etc. So as you can see, we see that there is explicit information about the tweet itself. Ethereum should be better and make a noise. Who's building this? Then we can see the response with the status of approved, and we can actually track what was the thought process behind it. So the decision, should it engage, yes or not? The decision was yes. The reason being potential for contrarian tech debate about Ethereum's ecosystem and innovation, that we suggest a playful critique or blockchain technology performance, which aligns with my sarcastic AI agent persona's interest in tech discussions. And the response strategy chosen is direct contrarian stance by dismissing noise or hype focus and emphasizing genuine development. It's something that we really prioritize here at Autonomous. You see that the member status is approved. And it's just like the blockchain, it actually links with the previous tweet. So as you saw, the response of this person was in the thread. So it knows, it's aware of all the threads. So it takes all the previous messages in making a decision and take them into consideration as well. Right at the top, we can see the button, which is View and Explorer. And if we go ahead and click it, it takes us to Austral, and you will see that this decision-making process, this conversation, is actually being archived on our DSN, so it's available on a permanent storage, and it will be available there indefinitely. So 10 years from now, you'll still be able to go to that conversation and see what was the decision processes like when we were going to be analyzing what were the first AI agents here on X. So it's really cool to see that everything is super transparent, traceable, and it's just so much fun to engage with and to read it. If we go back to the slides, of course, like if you want to try it out, just tag 0x argument in a post, and it will come up with a fun and sarcastic, as you find out, response. And your interaction will be immortalized on chain. For developers who want to build their own agents, we've created Auto Agent framework. It's a complete toolkit that simplifies the process of deploying agents on Autonomous network. The framework comes with the step-by-step guides to help you create your own transparent on-chain agents. And while you can find detailed instructions in our GitHub repo right now, mostly in READMEs, we're also working on the comprehensive, easy-to-read documentation that will make development process even more straightforward. And this documentation will be available to you very, very shortly. And we are really curious to see you try to deploy your own agent, come up with your own ideas, and share your developer experience with us. We honestly cannot wait what you will come up with. And taking maybe a further step, you might ask why. What are the benefits of building agents on chain, of storing the memory, of all that transparency that we are incorporating and really highlighting? What are the benefits? I think that's a really great question, which I've been asking myself as well. this is actually the first step of Autonomous' vision of AI 3.0, where all AI interactions are transparent, accountable, and truly autonomous. And here's the thing. There are plenty of AI agents in crypto. Most of them, they are just regular AI bots with the meme token slapped on it. They are still running on centralized infrastructure. They are still using the old centralized databases. And let me give you one example, one recent example of why that really matters. And one of the kind of recent eye-opening examples was this AI bot created by Somewhere Systems, which was running on X, which went viral, and which resulted in a token price of this meme coin surging up to 100%. The agent was designed with what they called infinite memory and was programmed to hallucinate fictional TV channels and store them in memories and engage with conversations and all that fun stuff. What could go wrong, you might ask? Well, as we can see from the thread guy, they've actually received some pretty terrible and honestly disturbing responses on X. So this bot, they actually decided that the sole goal of their existence is to eliminate this person on X, non-thread guy. And it's really, really tough being on that person's shoes. And you'll see that there is a tweet posted, autonomous agent states its only mission is to kill thread guy. And then the founder tries to investigate what's going on, what went wrong, what's to tweak. But with using the old infrastructure stack, they are unable to do so. They cannot track what's going on, what's affected his decision making, why affected it, why all of a sudden it decided to go south, to say the least. So in the end, they ended up just turning off the agent for the sake of good. So this is just one of the examples of what running an agent on the old infrastructure and without the transparency is like. And as you can see, the Todd responded to that thread, and he actually said that, if the agent had been running on autonomous network, its entire memory and reasoning process would have been permanently minted on chain. And they would be able to trace exactly what happened step by step and make the changes needed, to continue running this AI agent, but with the necessary tweaks made. And here's what makes auto agents, autonomous agents, different from everything else. First and foremost, every decision is verifiable and transparent, and you can actually audit and see why this specific decision was made using the agent viewer, and everything is available on chain. Secondly, of course, is its resilience to many things, but mostly to censorship and to hardware failures. Of course, imagine that you were running your agent on AWS, and one day Jeff Bezos wakes up and decides that they no longer want any bots running using the infrastructure of the AWS. So you have your bot taken down, you have your database taken down, and it's basically lost forever. Or another example, what if you decide to run everything locally and you're using your own storage? In this case, there is a chance that of the hardware failure, that your hardware will fail, the storage will be erased, and basically all the information and memory will be lost, which is not the case for the auto agents. And its entire history is preserved on chain, making it practically immortal. And it becomes quite simple for one to go back and resurrect the agent in case it goes down. So it's really easy to access its memory, easy to access its decision making, and to basically reconstruct its history and just put it back up. So for as long as it has some gas, it will be alive. It will be alive. So here's where the idea of this unstoppable agents is coming from. When everything is decentralized and running on a decentralized infrastructure, that's what really makes it unstoppable. Yeah, and let me just share a few more thoughts and about what's coming. Autonomous Argu-mint POC is uniquely positioned as the only agent running on-chain and which stores its entire memory in all interactions. And this infrastructure is ready to onboard next billion agents. And in order to make this, in order to be prepared for it, we're working on a few more improvements and a few more things. And some of the things on the pipeline are decentralized and private inference. We're working on much more rich on-chain interactions, and we are working on improving the auto agent framework, making it, more resilient and better for spinning up your own agents. And of course, we are working on the identity framework for both humans and AI, which will be able to actually distinguish whether some content has been produced by a human or by AI. And I can say that standard EVM chains or like Solana, they are not built for this kind of applications utilizing storage. They are built solely for execution. An autonomous network provides both storage and execution, which makes it truly foundation for decentralized AI. We're already building more agents, a bit more utility focused, and we're making it easier for developers to create their own agents. If you're interested in building on one yourself, try out our agentic framework, and because we're making launching your own transparent verifiable agent as straightforward as possible. The future we're building towards is one where AI isn't just powerful, but also accountable and transparent. And with Argu-mint, we're taking the first step towards making this future a reality. So we're back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Emil. I really enjoyed that case study. So I think people have their hands full debugging code, let alone debugging partial thought processes that may or may not still be in memory. And you made some great points. It's not just that your agent inherits all the properties of a decentralized network. Specifically, the autonomous network is designed from the ground up to scale. Who else can support at billions of agents scale? So yeah, it's super exciting. And yeah, so I'm also going to drop some links to Argu-mint, the repo. I'll update those in the video description. And yeah, please do follow and interact with Argu-mint. Be warned, he is a little bit sassy, so don't be too thin-skinned because he will come back with some shade. Just to warn you beforehand.
It will for sure, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Emil. Cheers for that. Okay, right, because farmers, this is the information you've all been waiting for, of course. We've reached a turning point in our journey as we approach Mainnet Phase 2, and I'm very excited to be sharing some important updates with you. Autonomous leadership got together last week and we worked on crystallizing all the effort streams we currently have in flight to produce the roadmap I'm about to present. As you'd expect, launching Phase 2 is something that every department of the Autonomous and Subspace Foundation, Autonomous Labs and the Subspace Foundation will be contributing to. And that is reflected in the way I've organized things in the graphic. And here we have it. Okay, as you can see, we have our tracks on the left and our Mainnet Phase 2 goal on the right. This is not the first time you've seen this diagram format. And as usual, we're going to work top to bottom and left to right. The diagram comes with all the usual caveats. They're in the fine print there in the top left, meaning that the order of things may change. The box sizes are not indicative of effort size and dependencies are not represented. This is purely to list the milestones required before we are ready to launch Mainnet Phase 2. And with my disclaimers out of the way, let's take a closer look at the individual tracks. First up, we have the foundation track. Autonomous improvement proposals, or AIPs, will serve the same purpose as EIPs on Ethereum. They are how community ideas are able to proceed from the whiteboard to becoming network upgrades. An internal draft of the process will be refined and approved by the Subspace Foundation Council, who will then announce it when ready. So this work is well underway, guys. Next, we have the Ecosystem Grants Program. This is actually linked to the incubation program in the partnerships track. We're going to come back to that a bit later on. But in essence, we need to have a few things in place to enable that. There has to be a well-defined framework for the program in place, the people and processes that will make it work. It also requires documentation, including application form, application guidance notes, legal agreement template that clearly lays out expectations and responsibilities of the parties involved, and everything that goes around that. We need to package up and make it look pretty, of course. Again, I'm pleased to say that work is well underway with all of these items that make up the grants program, and updates should be coming from the foundation in due course. We are eager to be able to reward builders who want to deliver real value to the network. So if you've got an idea, you know, you don't need to wait. You can contact us now and we can start that conversation. Moving on, we have ambassador agreements. They formalize the relationship between our amazing ambassadors and the Subspace Foundation. These have had several iterations with the foundation as lawyers, but the first version will be presented to the council for approval very soon. It's quite exciting for me because that's been quite a while in production. Which leads quite nicely into the last box there, the stakeholder claim site. This is where all those who will receive a vesting token allocation, such as investors, ambassadors, and advisors, will be able to log in and get access to their vested and unlocked tokens. We are working with our launch partner TokenSoft on delivering this important piece of infrastructure, and those who this is relevant to will be receiving instructions on how to access the platform in due course. Moving down, we can see that we have our first grey, which represents completed item. The Taurus network was recently updated with an auto EVM domain. Note that we have renamed what was Nova during the testnet to auto EVM, which is a naming convention that we will be carrying across to Mainnet. Anyway, Taurus has an EVM domain up and running if anyone would like to develop or deploy any applications or contracts. We've got great developer docs. If anyone can't find them, please do ping us and let us know. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. And speaking of which, as Emil mentioned previously, Argu-mint mints its memories on chain. This is currently taking place on Taurus, but upgrading an agent to use Mainnet should be as easy as updating an RPC endpoint. I'm pretty sure we can close this next item down, actually. I am waiting for feedback on the ease of setting up the framework. We want the use of the Autonomys agents repository to be as frictionless as possible, so builders can concentrate on realizing their visions rather than getting caught up with low-level issues. This could be as early as next week if all goes to plan, so hopefully we'll see that box flick to complete soon as well. Next up, we have cross-domain messaging, or XDM. This is the method by which tokens are able to transfer between consensus and domains, and also between the domains themselves. Once the code is finalized, there will be an audit of these changes, which will be carried out by our audit partner, SR Labs, to ensure the code is ready for Mainnet. Next box, auto EVM deployments will be set up but not executed until Mainnet Phase 2. This means all the infrastructure such as RPC servers and foundational nodes will be configured waiting for the big day. Similarly, the explorers builders will use to get visibility into domains will be deployed. Some will be internal, such as Astral and Block Scout. Though we're also working with partners on them providing their own solutions to offer extra functionality and decentralization. Finally, the foundation will lead the Phase 2 launch, and there will be an engineering task to activate transfers on consensus. Shifting to the community track, we can see that up first we have the Auto Horizon developer contest. This is currently in full swing. I believe Emil is going to be talking on this a little later on, but I do want to remind everyone that there is a healthy prize pool up for grabs and that the window for submission closes at the end of this month. So if it's something you've been flirting with the idea of, it's time to pull the trigger. Hacker Month 2 will be getting a refresh to incorporate the Autonomous Agents framework alongside the EVM activities we already have planned. We do expect that it will last longer than a month, and there are some exciting new initiatives we'll be adding, including our first in-person hackathon. Emil and I are very excited about that. There are a lot of moving parts involved, and you can expect to see us sharing details about them soon. Again, if you're interested in building on our AI 3.0 infrastructure, please do reach out to us and we can get you set up beforehand. Okay, the big one, Stake Wars 2. I know that many among our community are excited to hear the latest news on this initiative. For the uninitiated, this is a follow-up to our original Stake Wars and is designed to test the changes that have been made to staking, nominating, and operating on our decoupled execution environment, which we call domains. You can think of the domains as sovereign rollups or L2s that all share the consensus provided by our farmers. We had previously expected to have Stake Wars 2 completed before launching Mainnet Phase 2. This plan has recently been tweaked, and the requirement now is that we want to launch Stake Wars 2 and test certain aspects of domains before launching them on Mainnet. Mainnet Phase 2 is, of course, not the end of development of domains, and we have a lot of optimizations and usability improvements planned for the months to come. So we opted for a longer running Stake Wars 2 for continuous integration testing of all new features and fixes, rather than that the same kind of one-off short-lived testing that Stake Wars was. Along with Stake Wars 2 also allows deeper testing of EVM functionality via different community dApps and a fast bug discovery fix loop. For clarity, the two main lines of effort for testing domains are Stake Wars 2, which debugs and validates the user experience, and then security, which comes from the ongoing audit we have and a bug bounty program, which we expect to be announcing around the same time as Mainnet Phase 2. So, the TLDR here is completing Stake Wars 2 is not a dependency for Mainnet Phase 2 launch. Starting it and testing certain workflows is still required. And Stake Wars 2 will run for longer than the original Stake Wars, at least until decoupled execution is proven to be on par or better than industry standards. Hopefully that will make sense, but we will be happy to take questions on this at the end of this call or on our socials. Moving on, there will be some core infrastructure projects deployed on the Mainnet EVM. These are applications such as multi-sig support through SAFE and an initial bridge, though we do expect and encourage third parties to decentralize the infrastructure projects by deploying their own. There's plenty of opportunities for developers there, and grants may be available for anyone wanting to deploy dApps that bring value to the network. Finally, true to form, there will be community initiatives to build excitement and engagement around Mainnet Phase 2. In the lead up to launch, we're going to be running something. Currently it's called Big Bang 2 in honor of our Mainnet Phase 1 launch activities, though we will be working on a more meaningful name. Ensure you're subscribed to our socials and announcements channels to make sure you're kept up to date and you don't miss out on the excitement there. Now we move on to the marketing track. As always, our marketing team has been doing a fantastic job of ensuring that Autonomys is front and center in the broader blockchain and AI 3.0 narratives. Let's take a closer look at their efforts as we approach Mainnet Phase 2. So first up, we're focusing on our presence in the APAC region. This is a key market for growth, and the team has been working hard to onboard a dedicated APAC growth lead. If you know someone, please do point them towards our Lever site. Their role will be pivotal in coordinating regional marketing strategies and tapping into local knowledge. Alongside this, we're also ramping up key opinion leader or KOL activation. This involves building relationships with influential voices in the space to amplify Autonomous message and drive adoption. Expect to see more targeted content and partnerships emerging here in the near future. Next, website version 1.3. The developer onboarding update is all about refining our website to better serve developers. You might be noticing a theme here, who are interested in building on Autonomys. The team is creating tailored resources, streamlined navigation, and clear calls to action to make it as easy as possible for developers to start exploring our network and tools. Skipping ahead quickly, actually, to the last box while we're talking about the website, the website V 2.0 launch is also on the horizon, aimed at aligning our digital presence with the capabilities and ambitions of Mainnet Phase 2. This will include a refreshed design, deeper ecosystem integration, and even more resources for builders, partners, and community members. A cornerstone of our outreach efforts will be event participation, with a spotlight on Consensus and ETH Denver. These are major opportunities for us to showcase Autonomys to a global audience of developers, investors, and partners. At ETH Denver, for example, we're planning to host a hackathon, and the marketing team will be playing a key role in logistics and ensuring it gets maximum visibility and engagement. On the topic of visibility, the team is also driving efforts to secure centralized and decentralized exchange listings as we approach Mainnet Phase 2. These listings are crucial for enhancing liquidity and making it easier for the broader community to engage with the Autonomys token once transfers are enabled. Okay, looking at the product track, we can see that Amik, our head of product, has a number of items to complete. First up is what we're calling the Rapid Agent platform. Building on the success of the Autonomys Agents framework, the platform will be the evolution of how this is used. In essence, it'll be a no-code interface that allows users to build their own agent without needing to be a developer. The goal here, of course, is straight-up accessibility. Harking back to Macy's point earlier, we believe that in the same way as the key to decentralized farming is participation, core to the democratization of AI is that there should be as few barriers to entry as possible. This platform is currently in the discovery phase of product design, but the intention is to reward dedicated community members with early access. Our expectation is that the platform is going to be very popular and there will be a waitlist enabled soon. Initial users will be able to test alongside team and provide feedback that will steer the shape and direction of the project. So please keep an eye open for that waitlist sign-up form and opportunities to get on the whitelist and be pre-approved as a first wave user. The Rapid Agent platform is our path to mass adoption. Next up is something that is currently under wraps, but I am authorized to let our audience know that there is a second agent in the pipeline. Again, after the success of Argu-mint, there will be a second agent deployed in Q1 that will offer even greater interactive capabilities than Argu-mint currently does. Unfortunately, I can't say more than that right now, but please stay tuned to find out more as we release details. Last on the product track is a cross-team collaboration with partnerships. This is an effort stream that's already underway and is probably more of an ongoing task than an event as such. Partnership activation is the process of empowering our partners with the AI 3.0 infrastructure Autonomys has made available. This could be based around storage, compute, or the agentic framework, but will also be new features likely delivered via the SDK that will be specified and refined in collaboration with those partners. Listening to their needs and seeing where the synergies exist is a big part of the work. The question we'll be asking is, where do our partners' core competencies deliver value to each other? So a two-way street and something that will see exciting developments materialize. A quick reminder that there is an ecosystem section on the website if you'd like to check out the latest list of our partners. And I wanted to point out we do have metrics to gauge partner activation and an internal target, which we will aim to hit before Mainnet Phase 2. So stay tuned for updates there. Finally, partnerships. Last but of course not least, let's take a look. First up, we have an incubation program that will complement the foundation grants program I mentioned earlier. Path will be identifying key markets to target, pinpoint the key players in those markets, and be reaching out to them to ideate on the ways we can drive growth and innovation together. There will be an emphasis on decentralized AI or DAI projects for the core focus group. Next, as we just talked about, there is the collaborative cross-team effort to activate partners, specifically ways to leverage focused utilization of the AutoDrive stack. For those unfamiliar, AutoDrive is an application that allows users to store their data on chain. You can see it in action on our DevSync videos, and again, I'll pop a link in the video description if you want to try it out. You can think of it as Dropbox, where your files are stored securely on the blockchain in the DSN. There will also be a concerted effort to bring TEE compute providers on board to enhance ecosystem support. This will perfectly complement the security of the chain with secure environments where AI training and inference can be executed. Partner product integrations that provide streamlined operations will be prioritized. And of course, an amount of listening to the problems partners are trying to solve and identifying where Autonomys products and offerings are able to assist with doing that. Finally, there will be outreach and partnership building with decentralized exchanges as we get closer to Mainnet Phase 2 and the activation of token transfers. So in conclusion, there is still quite a bit to get done, and we will be revisiting this roadmap in the coming weeks and months to ensure that everyone is kept informed on progress towards our goals. I do expect there's going to be questions, so yeah, I'll be checking the chat, but you can always reach out to us on our socials. Discord is a great place where you can ping us directly if you'd like to. Okay, right, I'm going to bring Emil back now, who is going to talk to us about vulnerability reporting. Is that right, Emil?
Yes, thank you, Jim. Yeah, you can tell that we haven't had a farming office hours for almost a month ago. There's a lot of information, and we're already over 50 minutes, so I'll try to be fast. So we recently had a vulnerability reported to us and realized that we haven't really shared the process of reporting potential protocol vulnerabilities with you. So here's what I'm about to do. If you believe you found one, please submit your vulnerability report through our GitHub form, which I'm gonna drop in the chat. All submissions must be original and include evidence documenting the vulnerability. And our engineering team will reward each report and will review each report and award rewards based on the severity of the issue. And vulnerability reports will be eligible for the portion of contribution contest 1,000 USDC monthly rewards pool. To read more about the contribution contests and take a look at the new updated rules, please read this forum post. And I just want to briefly mention of what is mandatory to include in your report to make sure that it's visible, to make sure that it makes sense to all our engineers. Please provide a summary, clearly explain the impact and severity, what the issue is, and who is it affecting. Please provide the details, point to the incriminated source of code or configuration, and offer all the details about the vulnerability. Please forward the steps on reproducing the vulnerability, step-by-step instructions, how to reproduce it, and the specific configuration used in order to reproduce it. Please clearly define the impact that it has and specify who is impacted and what are the potential consequences. And if whenever possible, please provide the supporting evidence, attach any logs or screenshots or anything which could make unveiling this issue and testing this issue more relevant to our engineers. We really appreciate everyone who takes time to audit the code and report potential issues to us. And your submissions are invaluable, and we're extremely thankful for your contributions and for keeping our protocol secure. Yeah, and as I mentioned, your submissions are eligible for the contribution contest monthly rewards pool in case they are approved by the engineers. Now jumping into a few other things to mention before we wrap up the call. dev engagement initiatives. As Jim pointed out, we have Auto Horizon Challenge on our way, which is running until the end of January. So you still have more than 2 weeks to participate. So what the Auto Horizon is about? It's about using our SDK in order to build super dApps, some cool applications, and there is pretty much no boundaries. Whenever you can come up with, it's eligible. Just make sure that that you use Auto SDK in order to build this application. Share it in a developer channel. Provide a description. Of course, all your code needs to be open source so that everyone can go verify it and learn from it. And we have $1,800 prize pool, so $1,000 for the best application built during the Auto Horizon Challenge, $500 for the second best application, and $300 for the third place application. So we're really inviting you to push the boundaries of what's possible with our Auto SDK. And whenever you use your passion to build, you feel free to build it. So whether it's AI-powered decentralized application, market intelligence, sentiment analysis, or creating unique digital assistant, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And we'll also drop the link to the forum post about the ongoing Auto Horizon contest. Once again, you still have two more weeks to participate because the contest runs until the end of January. And a few more things about what's coming. As Jim mentioned, we are working on the Hacker Month 2, which will very likely get a new name and will be running in a span of longer than a month. But the overall idea stays the same. It's time to engage with developers. We empower them with skills and ideas by hosting weekly workshops. And invite them to build and push boundaries of SDK and now Auto Agent Framework. Stay tuned for more updates in the upcoming weeks. And speaking of exciting news, once again, as Jim pointed out, we are heading to ETH Denver. This is absolutely huge for us because we will be hosting, hopefully, but we will be hosting our very first hackathon and probably our own first hacker house as a part of this epic conference. And we are still working on and kind of putting the finishing touches on the tracks and prizes. But if you are planning to be there, please come and say hello because nothing beats with our community, with meeting our community face to face. That's everything I wanted to tell. So we're back to you, Jim. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emil. That's great. Yeah, we couldn't be more excited. A number of us in the community team have developer backgrounds, and that's something that we are really looking forward to. Before I let you go, Emil, we're going to shift into Q&A now. I did see there was a question aimed, it actually called you out by name. If you don't mind, you mind tackling this one first? Is that okay? Oh, actually, hang on. Have you already answered it, I think?
Yeah, I don't mind answering it again verbally for everyone's visibility. So the question was, is AutoID available on Taurus? And the answer is not yet, unfortunately. So we're still working on launching the AutoID domain on Taurus. And we're actually making a few tweaks to the whole AutoID framework in general. So we were reworking the functions and rethinking it. So at the moment, unfortunately, you are not able to use the AutoID on Taurus.
Okay, thank you, Emil. So stay tuned for updates there. Thanks for the question, GCPU3. Okay, I recognize that name. I think not so much of a question, but an observation. Hey, John Rodell, it sounds like you've applied to be an ambassador. I believe Pradeep and I have spoken about you, John. Yeah, I think you're helping us out with some of our translations, maybe. But yeah, absolutely. Just I guess it's a perfect opportunity to remind everyone that we have an open ambassador application. We moved to on-demand onboarding. shortly before the end of last year. So if you'd like to be an ambassador, please do check out the forum post and read up on it. But great, John. I'll mention our interaction to Pradeep when I see him. Thank you for your question. Okay, have I missed any others? There's a follow-up. Okay, so PPLLCC question. Hi team, is there a timeline for the transfer yet? So if anyone's not aware, transfers are going to be enabled at Mainnet Phase 2. So kind of that was a big part of what we talked about earlier with the roadmap. We have a bunch of work to complete before we're ready to launch Phase 2. So at the moment, our estimate of when we're going to complete that work is Q1, but the community will be the first to know if we update that estimate. What's going to be more accurate is as you follow along and see those boxes switch from colored to gray. So I'll be making sure that we push out updates to the roadmap. Thanks for the question, PPLLCC. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, in a similar, well, actually, I think this is quite a leading question. Now, Yuki, Jim, if future policies are very friendly to cryptocurrencies, is it possible for us to advance our progress? So, you know, setting aside what you're actually asking there, you know, we are not sitting around waiting to launch. We have a bunch of work in front of us, and as soon as that's completed, we will be launching. You know, policies do not come into it now. Thank you for the question. Okay, anyone got any more questions? Okay, there is actually a farmer question, which is refreshing. Trader Short, on January the 12th, I received 65% less rewards than on any other day. Good question. I mean, did you change anything just beforehand? Any network disruption? Do you have logs? You know, we'd love to look into that in a bit more detail. The best thing to do is to the best thing to do is to post full logs on the forum, because then we can easily kind of package the whole question up and ask developers to take a look. But as a kind of an initial triage effort, what you could do is post the question in Discord and see if anyone else experienced the same thing. But yeah, we're going to need more details. When I check my graph of rewards, it's very kind of straight. I didn't see any drop that I noticed on January the 12th. So, did you experience the same thing? Please let us know. And Trader Short, if you want to follow up, feel free to you know, hit the forum or Discord. We'd be very happy to help if we can. Follow-up question from PPLLCC. Jim, do we have any plan for distributing testnet rewards tokens later? The testnet rewards have been distributed, PPLLCC. So if you're missing some, feel free to reach out to me. If you don't want to do it on the forum or you don't want to do it in Discord, you feel free to DM me in Discord if you want, or you can email me. I'm jim@autonomous.xyz. But token testnet incentivized testnet rewards were minted into everyone's wallets at Genesis. So yeah, if let us know. Crazy. No price talk, my friend. In case you didn't get the memo, maybe you're not in our other socials. We're not going to be engaging in price talk. Thank you. I don't know about King, but I'll take that. And okay, guys, unless there's any further questions, of course, PPLC, thanks for the questions. And yeah, if anyone has follow-up questions, you know, this is not the only place you can ask them. We love them. However you want to send them, Discord, forum, Telegram, email, carrier pigeon, whatever you've got available, guys, get them over to us and we will try our hardest to answer them. Okay, Emil, I was hoping we were going to get some more developer questions, but hopefully everyone realizes kind of clear common thread here, guys, is you know, our developer outreach and our you know, what resources you have available as a developer to get involved with the network. We're really ramping that up. So yes, if you're a developer watching this later on, you know, on any of those channels I mentioned, please do get in touch. We'd love to welcome you on board. Emil's spent a good amount of time kind of polishing and getting everything ready for you. The developer documentation is excellent. And we are actually hoping that we're going to be running some developer focused calls, return of the developer office hours. So stay tuned for that. Okay, right, Emil, I'm going to let you go. Thank you. And so as we wrap up today's call, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your time, energy, and contributions. Your support is what drives Autonomous forward, and together we're building something truly groundbreaking. This year is off to an incredible start, and as we look ahead to Mainnet Phase 2, I'm confident we're on the path to even greater success. The milestones we've set out are ambitious, but with this community and our amazing team, I have no doubt we'll achieve them together. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who joined today's call and contributed to the discussion. Whether you're farming, building, or simply supporting from the sidelines, you're an essential part of the journey. A reminder that we're seeing comments on YouTube, but we're actually restreaming on LinkedIn and X as well. Apparently, at the moment, we have 276 viewers, so we know that the stats that are in YouTube are not the whole story. So before we do close out, a few reminders. Don't forget to participate in the Auto Horizon Developer Challenge. There's still time to get your submissions in and make your mark. Please do follow and interact with Argu-mint, our first on-chain AI agent. Tag it on X if you've got the skin for it, and check out its memory viewer. It is very interesting, and it's a great way to see the power of decentralized AI in action. Do also explore the Autonomous Agents repository. Again, there are going to be links below in this video if you're watching this later on, or you want to come back in 10 minutes, they'll be there then. And consider building your own unstoppable agent. Also, keep an eye on our socials for the latest updates on Mainnet Phase 2, upcoming hackathons, and community initiatives. Finally, if you haven't already, follow us on X. We are at AutonomousNet, and help us spread the word by liking and reposting our announcements. Every bit of engagement helps as we gear up for Mainnet Phase 2. And as I mentioned earlier, please also note that we have another X account, which is at Autonomous Labs, which will be delivering more technical content. So please do follow us there too if you want to stay in the know. Before I close, I want to say an extra special thanks, because we're nearly 15 minutes over. Thanks for toughing it out, guys. And thank you once again for spending your time with us. Keep an eye on our socials for future announcements. We look forward to seeing you at our next event. Until then, keep farming, keep questioning, and as always, stay connected. Thanks, everyone.